What's up, you guys? My name is Katie and I'm going into my 4th year of teaching 1st grade, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little classroom prep video, and I'm actually going to be organizing my classroom library. Prior to today, Siri. Prior to today and filming right now, there was a long thought process that went behind how am I going to organize my books. And I shared a little bit about this on my Instagram and even asked you guys for some advice. So make sure, if you're not following me already, that you follow me on Instagram at Mrs. Allen in First, because I loved getting tips from you guys on there and it really helps me decide how I was going to organize my library. So in my old classroom, all of the bookshelves that held my books for my classroom library were up high. I'll try to insert a picture of that, or you can also see it in my old classroom tour video as well. All of the bookshelves were up high where only I could reach them, and I used wire metal bookshelves to put my books out for the students. So I would pick like 30 or more books and fill the bookshelves, and so those were the books that they had access to during that week. And at the end of the week, every Friday, I would swap them out. Now, this year, my new classroom is going to be a little bit different. Again, I'll try to insert pictures, but the bookshelves that I have that are obviously going to be for my library books are down low. So the kids can reach them, the kids can see them, and so I think I'm ready, year 4, here we go, to take the plunge and let my students use whatever book and read whatever book from the shelf on their own. So enter my Instagram poll. I reached out and I was like, SOS, how do I organize my books in a way that's not going to break the bank, because I don't want to buy a whole bunch of book bins, and in a way that would be easy for primary kids, for 1st graders to like use independently. I got a lot of great ideas and I was torn between like 2 general concepts. The first one is sorting all of the books by theme in book bins, and then the other one is alphabetizing them by author's name and using stickers to label them that way. So I decided not to go with the themes, and what I'm going to do is organize them alphabetically by author's last name. This idea was inspired by a blog post by Jillian Starr, and I will link it below, but she shared how she took her books out of the themed book bins and decided to make them alphabetical order by last name for her students. And one of the reasons that she gave is that's what it's like in a real library. If a kid goes into a library, yes, they do have some categories, but once you get to the category, it's alphabetized by author's last name. So it gives them really practical skills that they'll be able to use in libraries in the future. Now, the labels that I'm going to use don't just have the letter on them though, they also have a color. So that scaffolds them, because they're still primary students, it gives them another layer of visual to organize the books. Now, the good news is, since I started teaching, I have kept up with every single book in my classroom library and put them all into a spreadsheet on Google Sheets. And so every time I get new books, I add them in there. And I have all of the authors' names. And then I'm also going to go through while I'm organizing them and kind of add some category tags for some of my books, because I'm kind of going to do the best of both worlds. I'm going to use those big bookshelves to alphabetize by author's last name and use the labels, but I'm also still going to use the wire bookshelves that I have so I can pull out some seasonal things. So if it's October, I can pull out all my pumpkin books and put them on display so my students can still see them, and I can still kind of advertise or suggest books that they might be interested in based on the season. So while I go through, I'm probably going to put some tags like pumpkins or fall or ocean. That way I can kind of just Command F on my already existing spreadsheet when I need to go pull some books for those bookshelves. So all of that being said, today I start my adventure of actually labeling my books. In reality, the adventure started yesterday because I asked my husband to help me pull the books out of our guest closet where all of my classroom things are currently being stored. So we had to take a lot of things out of the closet to find the book bin boxes, to move them into the living room, and then put everything else that wasn't books back into the closet. And I will enter a little time lapse of all of that action right here. As you can see, a lot of work, a lot of books, but now they are all back here in the living room ready for me to take them out, go through them, label them, anything that I need to do. Now the first part of the process was picking out my labels. Teachers Pay Teachers has tons of good label options, but I decided to make my own, and here's why. When I was looking at some of the ones on Teachers Pay Teachers, some of the color discrepancies were very, very small. Like this blue looked just like this blue, and to my eye, like I couldn't tell the difference. And if I couldn't tell the difference, I know it would be hard for a first grader to tell the difference between those shades of blue. So I decided to go through and use some colors that were a little more distinct so it helps them organize the books and they're more likely to put them back in the right spot, let's be honest. I also combined some of my categories as well. Like I said, I have all my books on a spreadsheet, so I could go and look, and my husband helped me with this, and we looked to see how many A last names, A authors do we have, how many B, how many C, and I noticed that some of the categories like only had 3, but like B had so many, but that's because I have a lot of Berenstain Bears books, and so there's like, oh my goodness, so many books that have authors' last names that start with a B. So you'll see while I'm labeling, some of them have individual letters, like A is by itself, B is by itself, etc. But some of them share, like T, U, and V are on a label together, X, Y, and Z, because I don't have very many authors with those letters in their last name, so forth and so on. So this is actually gonna save me ink and labels, and I didn't have to find as many unique colors that are easy to distinguish by the human eye. I'm going to go to the store to go pick up the Avery labels that I'm using, and then I'm also gonna go to Office Depot and print them there. All right, let me show you what my PDF document looks like. All right, the first thing I did was search for the label size I was using, which I'm using the Avery 8160. And if you just search that in Google, it'll come up with the labels, and you can download the template right here. So I could click on templates, and I downloaded the template that I needed for my computer, which I needed one for Pages because I have a Mac. So here's the Pages document. And it looks like this. So these are all of the labels and the colors that I'm going to use. And we went through and used a notebook to figure out how many pages of each label are we going to use. So I only need 1 page of A, so I made a page of A. I told you I had a lot of B, so we needed 4 pages of B. Here's C, D, etc., etc. And I just used some of their colors on here. You can tell that most of them, I think this one, like P, might be the closest one because it kind of looks like the orange or the red, but it looks a little bit different, not on the camera. S, T, V, W, X, Y, Z. This is like my sample page that I'm going to use to print off to make sure it lines up with the labels. And I just did gray in the empty boxes. That way I could just check the alignment for those. Anyways, all right, and then I also did one more version. Quit. The other version I did was with a full page background, just in case like the little color blocks didn't fit in very well. And you can kind of see it's the same thing, except instead of filling in just the little boxes, I made the whole page that color. The letters I made just with the Century Gothic font, made them white. So I'm hoping that this will line up. I'm obviously going to test a page when I get to Office Depot first and see before I just like go and print crazy. I just finished at Office Depot and the guy there was super helpful. We ended up using the copy that had like the full color on the whole page, a lot more ink, but when we printed the test page with just the boxes, it didn't cover the whole label, and I really wanted it to cover the whole label, and he even agreed. He's like, yeah, it looks better when it covers the whole label. And then when he printed it, there was like this streak of color on there. Like on the green page, there was like a dark green line on the side, and it really wasn't that noticeable. And honestly, my printer was doing that too, and my printer wasn't getting the colors as vibrant, and it still had that streak. And he felt bad. He was like, I'll give you a discount. It was only $7.94. I was expecting it to be like 30 because I thought it was like 50 cents per colored copy. Maybe that's just the self-service and not like if you have somebody help you. but it was only $7.94. I was so excited. So that's like $13 of saving right there that I was not anticipating. So let's take them home and get started. Okay, thank you. Have a good rest of your day. You too. All right, let me show you how the labels turned out. So here was our original test page, which I'll just kind of use as my color, what's it called? A key. I will use this as my key for all of the books. Gosh, that was so hard to come up with. And then here are the beautiful labels. They turned out so great. Let me see if I can find one that has like the streak he was talking about. I don't know if you can see that or not. If not, I'll show you like another time with the camera. But you can kind of see like the orange streak going down it. But the streak is orange and the label is supposed to be orange. So I was like, dude, I really do not care. It looks great. You know what? Since I got a discount on it, I'm okay because I was expecting to spend like 30 bucks. What I'm gonna do before I even use the labels, I just wanted to show you because I was so excited. Before I even use them, I'm going to open up all the boxes and sort all the books and put all the A's in a stack, B's in a stack, C's in a stack, because then it'll be easier to label, and when I pack them back, I can pack them back in order so it's easier to take them out in my classroom. All right, so I think I have my system down. I put all of these index cards out for all my categories, and I'm making stacks next to all the index cards. And then let me show you what I'm doing to kind of like tag my books in my database. So I discovered that this box is the box of books that I had that were all grouped together. You can see by the saran wrap right here that we took them out of book bins. So they're already kind of by theme. So this whole stack I just finished doing, these were all fall books. So before I sort them into the author stacks, I'm coming on to my database and I'm searching for the book, and then I'm adding a new column and I'm just writing the word fall so I can remember those came out of the fall book bin. So when I'm going to look for them later, I can search in my spreadsheet and search fall and see all of these, and I can find all of them by author last name to put them on the themed shelf. I'm also setting aside nonfiction because I am going to keep those in book bins like in a separate space. And then I'm also going to set aside any books that are like my babies, like ones that I would use for a read aloud, but really wouldn't want the kids like really rummaging through, or ones that I use for like mentor text for writing that I'd like to like read with the class and then maybe put on the theme shelf. You know, everybody's got those books that we're gonna be protective of. So I'm making a stack of those so I can make my own little separate bookshelf that's out of the way just in case. So that's where we are. Checking in with an update. Look at all those books I sorted. Whew. And then I have 1, 2, 3 more boxes to go. And then I have all these up here. I have like Curious George. I don't know where to put him yet because that's like a set, and I don't know the author because it's like adapted by the film series, so we'll see. Might have to look that up. Chapter books right here because those are just gonna go in a separate spot because I teach first grade, so not all my kids are gonna need chapter books. These are ones that I want to keep safe or I use for writing, mentor text. And then these, what are those? Oh, those are all like the I can read ones that are like leveled, but not really. They're more decodable. So I am going to keep all of those like in a set. And then I just put all my nonfiction in that box because I opened it up, and that's where my like nonfiction scholastics that I've laminated are. So we're starting a nonfiction box over there. So that's the update. I'm going to log in some Christmas and Thanksgiving and then keep going. I've got 3 more boxes. We can do it. All right, 1 box left. Last one, here we go. peeps, it is 1:50 now, and here are all of my book stacks. I'm done sorting all of them by author last name, so now it's time to start labeling. So I'm gonna kind of pull them over right here so I can sit like with my back up against the lovely couch and be a little more comfy. And then I also put my boxes over here, so once I finish like all of those, I'm gonna slide them into a box so I can like repack them as I go. So here we go. Quick update, I've done A, B, C, and D so far. After I label them, before I put them in the box, I'm checking on my spreadsheet to make sure I have them listed so I can get an accurate count. Then I'm putting them in the box, and then I'm labeling the box, as you saw earlier, with the letters. That way when I get into my classroom, it'll be easy to put on the shelf in order, and I'll open the boxes in order maybe. And that's what's still left to be done. Yay. Y'all, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I'm finally done. And I'm so excited. Let me show you kind of like what the finished boxes looks like. So here are all my alphabet boxes. I put all the letters on there so you can see how they're grouped. And the other ones, I don't want to move them, so David might be helping me, but all of the chapter books and I Can Read books, I kept those separate. This was kind of like assorted games, and then I threw Curious George in there because I don't know where I'm gonna put him yet on the shelves. And then this is all of my nonfiction books plus special books that I'm gonna keep on my own personal bookshelf. I finished all of the boxes, logged them all on my spreadsheet, have a complete total count. So I'm looking at my spreadsheet. Let's see. It's going really slow because the computer's been open. All right, looking at my spreadsheet, I have approximately 629 books. So the last step is gonna be putting these in my classroom. I'm gonna email my principal and see if she'll let me come in early to put the books away, since that won't affect carpet being cleaned. We'll see if I'm able to do that. I'll add it to the end of this vlog. If I'm not, then you won't see it at the end of this vlog, and you'll just know that it'll be in a classroom setup video. One more thing before I go, I wanted to share how I kind of gathered all of these books. So if there are any first year teachers out there, most of my books have come from thrift stores and garage sales for the most part. I hit up a lot of garage sales before my first year teaching, and then anytime I go to a garage sale, I'm always looking at books, and you can find a lot of good ones, especially if you find teachers that are retiring that are having a garage sale. They're gonna have some good books as well. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I'm gonna do my little outro now, just in case I don't get to go put my books up, but again, we'll see. But I'm so glad you guys were here today. Make sure you like and subscribe to see more classroom prep videos, and I will catch you in the next one.